Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Ozzy's Drives. Today we're driving the weakest rear-wheel drive BMW you can buy today, and it's the 218i with an incredible 156 horsepower. But before we start, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, check out our other stuff. Let's see whether we can have some fun. Today's goal is very simple. I want to find out what the fuel economy of the 218 is and whether we can have some fun, because they promise us pleasure in driving. So let's see what the engine is all about. And it's like I told you, it's really the weakest engine that they have to offer. 156 horsepower, 230 newton meters of torque, 2-liter inline 4-cylinder. A little strange that they use the same engine code in this, the 220, and the 230, which has 245 horsepower. So I don't know, same engine. I would just go for the most powerful one. But hey, we're gonna find out whether we can drive this car a little faster. 0 to 100 in 8.7 seconds, which is slow as shit in all honesty. But now, have a listen. Build this thing up because I don't know if this is going to have a good fuel economy. Obviously, it's the weakest BMW 2 Series you can buy, especially with rear-wheel drive. But I still wonder, is it any eco-efficient? It should, I mean, it should not use more than 4 or 5 liters, right? So we'll find out. It looks a little strange. It has the BMW proportions, but it does look a little strange from the rear, in my opinion. I don't know what it is. Looks a little strange. Yeah, let's see. Look at that. It only has a 40-liter tank. That was the first click. Let's get it out. Put that in here. Close it down, and then let's go pay and start our fuel economy test. The car is filled up. We have to reset everything. You just press this board computer button here. Tack, that's it. Then we start it up. BMW typical. You know, it feels like a real BMW. It does look a little shit in all honesty, but it feels like a real BMW, right? You have everything that you need. But I wonder, is this car any fuel efficient in all honesty? And I wonder that because it has only 156 horsepower. It's a tiny, tiny engine. So let's see. All right, friends. So I have been driving this BMW 218i now for a couple of kilometers, almost 30 kilometers, and the clock says 6.4 liters, which is actually, which I think this is, I think it's a lot. I think it's a lot, and I don't really understand the concept of the engine. The problem is, this is called the 218. But it has the 2-liter engine, which the 220 has, the 230 has, right? So they have a various power segment of the same engine code from 156 horsepower that this car has up until 250 horsepower. Same engine. And to be honest, this feels very weak. I'll tell you plain and honest, when you accelerate on the Autobahn a little bit, just like letting it go through gears, second, third, fourth, fifth. I mean, it has 8 gears, right? It really feels weak. You know, just accelerating gently makes it feel very weak, and I particularly hate that extremely in cars. I'd rather have a 3-liter with 180 horsepower, right? That doesn't feel weak, that feels smooth, beside of a 2-liter engine that vibrates through the whole cabin. I hate that shit. I tell you as it is, I hate that. And in all honesty, I remember I had a C180, which had also 156 horsepower. It was a bigger car. And that thing was using around 4.5 liters to 100 kilometers. It was unbelievable. I was driving it 350 kilometers to Geneva, and it used, when I came there, it used like 5 liters to 100 kilometers. So I wonder what this thing can do, but it doesn't look that good in all honesty. So that's my initial thoughts. Still, we have to find out whether this can be any fun, right? Because it feels very light on the steering wheel, but we need another track for that. So stay patient, stay tuned. First we finish the fuel economy, and then we see what this car can actually do. All right, see you a little later. It's about time this thing goes under 6 liters. As you can see here, we're at 5.9 liters to 100 kilometers. Hopefully it drops down. I mean, everything over 5.5 liters is just not worth it. I'm telling you, because we're driving only on the Autobahn. I swear I drove an M2 competition on the same road, same conditions, even a longer drive. And there's a video actually on the M2 competition, but the predecessor, the F87. And I'm telling you, that thing used 5.5 liters to 100 kilometers on the same road. So this shouldn't go over 5.5 liter by no means. Otherwise I would just suggest you to buy an M2, in all honesty. You can check both of them. I have the M2 competition F87 and I have the M2 G87. And I kid you not, the G87 on the same road, under similar conditions, very cold outside, I was driving the same road. The tires were like half of it wider, and I had like a fuel economy of 6.2 liters to 100 kilometers, which is insane. It's really, this is insane to think of. A 460 horsepower machine, and the other car, the 420 horsepower machine, of what was it, 410 in the M2 competition, F87 had like a 5.5 liters. So maybe I'm the one that is overdoing it, but to me this shouldn't use more than 5 liters at all. Anyway, we're arriving at the petrol station. Obviously I'm using the the engine, this tiny engine, to brake, right? Not using the brakes, letting it decelerate with the power of shifting down and the engine itself. So as I told you, should arrive in a couple of 100 meters, and I'm curious how much this car actually used. The drive was around 65 kilometers, so hopefully we have a good result. All right, we have arrived what did it say? 63.9 kilometers. Let's see what it says on the live vehicle stats. Okay, it said 5.7 before, exactly. 5.7 liters to 100 kilometers, right? 64 kilometers of drive, so it shouldn't have used anything more than 3.65 liters. Obviously, we have to find out whether this is true. As always, first click. Hopefully it works today. That's it. 3.3 liters to 65 kilometers, which is not bad, actually. 3.3 liters to 65 kilometers. I would have to calculate that quickly. This would mean the car has used 5.1 liters to 100 kilometers, which is not bad. It's not bad. I'm okay with that result. 5.1 liters with an 218i is okay. Especially, you know, cold weather outside. Plus, the car is pretty heavy, 1.5 tons. You know, the funniest thing is, I just came to notice, you know, I always fill those car up like fully, and then I do a second fill up, right, to check how much fuel it actually used. And I paid $5. So every time I go there, I feel like they're looking strange at me, like, why would you fill a car up for $5? Which I understand. Okay, friends, so since this is really a very slow car, I will try to go in second gear. Let's open the window a little bit and then just floor it. I told you, BMW is unbeatable. BMW is unbeatable. You can literally drift every single car they have. This is the weakest car of them all, but you can drift it. It's not surprising to me because I've done this before. Not with this car, but once with a 116 compact. And this works beautiful. Let's do that thing one more time. Let's see. Throw it around. Look at that, much better than the last one. And again. BMW, baby. BMW. Any more questions? I highly doubt that. Of course, it's a little bit wet, but still, this is a 218 and I just drifted it. So say what you want. You can have fun with this thing. I will even give you another angle. Look at that. And just floor it another time. So what's my conclusion on the BMW 218i Coupe? Well, in all honesty, it's a good entrance car. It's a good car for you to enjoy if you want to drive it a little bit faster, but you still want to be safe with a car that's not too powerful. I personally think it has a little bit it's a little bit too weak, in all honesty. I would suggest you to go with the 230i. In all honesty, I think this is the much better car. But still, if you need a car, a bang for the buck, you can get this. It's turbocharged and you can stage 1 tune it for around 400 bucks and then you have 200 horsepower. So with that said, friends, thank you very much for watching. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe. God bless you and see you on the next one. Goodbye.